Welcome everyone to Session Spotlight. Today we are excited to welcome our three leaders, Wendy Arnott, Bonanno, and Robyn Spady. Just a reminder, Convergence is this summer. It will be July the 11th through the 17th. We have all kinds of things to offer. We have seminars, workshops, fashion show, exhibits, tours, and of course, shopping. So be sure you get a chance to sign up. Registration is open. Just a reminder, the exhibits will be opening soon for people to join. You can also enter the fashion show, and we'll have more and more. You can see everything online and with your registration book. We're going to start today with Wendy Arnott. Wendy is doing the printed petal, hammer printing with fresh flowers. It's a one-day workshop, and it's on Thursday, July the 11th. Hey, Wendy.
Hello there. So I'm Wendy, and I'm teaching the printed petal class. We'll be using the pounding method to transfer the color directly from plants onto fabric. The technique is pretty straightforward. I've had everyone from ages 3 to 70 printing with me at my make and take booths. It's a lot of fun. For the hands-on portion of the class, we have several projects that you'll be able to complete and take home. Just to get a feel for the technique at the beginning, we'll start off with a couple of smaller prints that we can apply to some cards when we're done printing. And then we'll move on to printing a small bag. And then a backpack. This will give you a little more space to play with your designs. And then we'll print a silk scarf on crepe de chine. This is one that I printed and then later painted some dye onto the background. That's something you could do later at home if you wanted. We'll just be doing the printing portion in class. So that's the hands-on part of it. I'm also going to be talking about some factors that go into getting a vibrant, long-lasting print so that when you go home, you'll be able to do this whole process from scratch. The materials we're using in class are already prepared, so we'll just get straight to the printing. Some of the factors I'm going to talk about are how to prepare your fabrics. So I'll give a demo on scouring and mordanting. I'm also going to talk about some options for binders, which help extend the life of your prints. So I'll be talking about how to use soy milk and also how to use a screen printing medium. That's an alternative to the soy milk. Finishing your prints, so pros and cons of steaming and different ways to do that. I'll talk about choosing plants for your projects. The types of plants you choose can really affect your results. Some of them last longer than others. And I'll also talk about pairing your end use project idea with this technique, because the way you plan to use your print will affect like the durability of the print itself. So we'll get into all the little nitty-gritty stuff so that you can do it at home on your own as well. And that's basically the outline of the class, and I can answer questions about that.
Well, I was curious about how much experience would you need and what kind of experience would you need to take this class?
This is a completely beginner-friendly class. And you'll go home with information so that you can do it on your own and like take it as far as you want.
And you're providing most of the materials?
All the materials are provided and they're ready to go. You'll want to bring a hammer, and I highly recommend some earplugs. It's kind of noisy.
Kind of noisy in this class, huh? Well, this sounds like a great class for somebody who can't bring a loom or doesn't want to. This is a class where the equipment will be there. It'll be great.
Yeah, there's one other piece of equipment I provide for the class. It's just a board to go under your, it's like a work surface so that you can pound without pounding the table.
That's great. All right. This is a great class to understand how dyes come out of plants, which I think is just magical. It's the printed petal hammer printing with fresh flowers. It's a one-day workshop and it's Thursday, July the 11th. Thank you, Wendy. Next up, we have Bonanno. Bea is going to talk about confidence with color. Oh boy, that's a big topic for everybody. This is a 3-hour seminar. It will be Sunday morning, July the 14th. Hi, Bea.
Hi there. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to share this class. This is a class that I have taught a few times, and it's based in a little bit of like proper color theory, but then also we kind of go into the emotional connections we have with color, and we do a few exercises where we actually do work with color a bit hands-on. So it's half lecture, half hands-on, and the first part of the lecture we are discussing color theory, the developments, where it came from, get some vocabulary so we can continue to discuss the certain attributes of color that we'll be looking at, and different ratios, different tips that various types of designers use. So we look at interior design applications, knitting, weaving, painting, really anything. And then we'll talk a little bit about certain correlations we have within ourselves with certain colors, emotional connections, memories, things like that. This part of the class stemmed from me working at Yarn Barn for a long time. And, you know, we'd get customers sometimes that are like, I have to make this item for a loved one and they want it in this color and I can't stand that color. And it's sort of like, well, let's not spend all of this time working with something that we hate. Maybe we can reassociate things or find a way to work with the color that you can enjoy it more and find the value in all colors, even if you're not particularly drawn to wearing them. Maybe you do like using them in an artistic expression, you know, like the clothes you wear might not be the same colors you design your home in, you know, things like that. And then when we get into the hands-on portion, we'll be doing a lot of collage work. So I'll be asking people to bring in photos that they love the colors of, or, you know, if you're a scrapbooker or a collage person, or you like to gather inspiration and maybe you've had some pictures that you really love, but you haven't found that project to spark it yet, that would be a great thing to bring to this class. I'll also be providing magazines, art papers, tissue paper, washi tape. I ask that you bring scissors and your own Scotch tape. And I'll also have some surfaces, just, you know, nice big sheets of paper that we'll be working some collages in. And first exercise is going to be working within a palette with colors that you really enjoy. And so that, again, can be inspired by a photo you bring or a photo you find in a magazine that we've brought. Just colors that you like, something that feels good, you know, kind of warming up. And we'll talk about that, what that was like. And then the second exercise is basing a color palette or collage off of a color that you really don't enjoy, that you really struggle with, that, you know, every time you try and work with it, it just doesn't come out right. And that's ends up being a really fun exercise. When I've taught this in yarn stores, what we do is we just make a huge mess with yarn, and it's really fun because, you know, it's an exercise where there's no budget. It doesn't matter if something's washable, non-washable, you just throw it together because you like the color. So yeah, I have some examples of the collages that I use in my own work. Sometimes it's for color studies, sometimes it's for forms. So just collage as a practice is a really great way to work out plans for pieces. for all types of weaving and fiber crafting, things like that, felting, you know, anything you want. And a lot of my work in tapestries, I'll do collages for particular sections if I need to flesh something out for an idea. So this is just, this is mostly magazine. This one is magazine cutouts and a lot of tissue paper. And, you know, sometimes the collage can just be very simple to remind me of proportions that I want in regards to background forms and other shapes that are going to be closer to the viewer and things like that. The pieces that I've been working on have a black background. So a lot of the work, the collage work that I'm showing you right now is on black paper, just to sort of set the tone and also bring it. And so then this is a sort of overall collage mood board for the piece that I'm working on. And so lots of different inspiration, even some more collage within here. And this I just have on the wall in front of me while I weave. And so, you know, collage is a really helpful tool for working through ideas and also planning things out. And so we'll be doing a bit of that, doing a little bit of thinking about color, and it just ends up being a really fun class, and you'll just leave it and your head's buzzing and colors look different, and it's really fun.
This sounds like a great class no matter what you do, whether you're
No
a
matter
weaver
what.
or a dyer
Yeah.
or spinner or whatever.
Yeah. You
That's
have a painter
wonderful.
friend, take her with you to Convergence. You can take the class together.
There you go.
Have a good time.
And I always want to highlight the classes that are good for beginners or for people who can't bring equipment.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Bea.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We'll see you in July.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Next up, we have, it's Robyn Spady, who goes without any need of an introduction. And I even pronounced her name right.
Yes.
She's going to talk about one of her mini classes, which is 4 Shafts Aren't Complex, Au Contraire. This is a 3-hour seminar. It's Friday morning. Take it away, Robyn.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm Robyn Spady, and one of the classes that I get to teach next year at Convergence is 4 Shafts Aren't Complex, Au Contraire. And so I'm going to go over, I'm going to start sharing my screen so I can bring up my PowerPoint so you can get a sense of some of the things that I'm going to be covering during this 3-hour class. The class is 4 Shafts Aren't Complex. Like Kathy said, it's Friday, July 12th from 9 to 12 in the morning. This is trying to really celebrate the 4 shaft loom. Somewhere along the line, people started thinking, I can't do anything complex. But one of the advantages of 4 shaft weaves is you have fewer shafts to raise. And as you get older, I know for me, not having to raise a lot of shafts. I've been weaving for over 50 years, and for the first 30 years, I wove on nothing but 4 shafts, and I never ran out of ideas. But somewhere along the line, the 4 shaft loom became the Rodney Dangerfield of the weaving community, and people just seem to think, I can't do anything complex. I only have 4 shafts. And I really wish I had $1 for every time somebody said that. So this is my way of saying, no, you can do some very, very complex things. 4 is an amazing number. When you start looking at numerology, they say 4 is the most balanced number of all because it's 2 plus 2. It's also 2 times 2. It's also the only number, a little trivia about the number 4, it's the only number to have the same number of letters as the number itself. But 4 comes up in a lot of different ways. And I really am hoping that people that come to this will decide, I don't need more shafts. I can really pull up so much more out of my 4 shaft loom. Plus, I feel that if you know how to pull a lot out of 4, when you move on to 8 or more than that even, you're going to be able to do even more. So I'm going to cover some techniques for reducing patterns. So sometimes you can take something that's 8 or 16 shafts and reduce it to 4. We're going to be covering some weaves. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. The materials fee is $5. And for a 3-hour class, that might seem a little on the high side. But this is a spiral bound handout that has all of the drafts in it and it has notations for everything. So you can come in and you can sit back and you can just watch what's going on and not have to worry so much about taking notes. I'm a terrible note taker, so I like having a good handout. So some of the weaves, one of the things we're going to cover is swivel. Swivel is a treadling technique, and it's taking a 4-shaft overshot pattern in this example, and how you treadle it can turn it into something that looks like needlepoint fabric. Plain weave surface, and oddly enough, swivel is related to overshot pattern double weave. Overshot pattern double weave to me is one of the most exciting things of all, not just even on 4 shafts, because you can transform any overshot pattern into a double weave, still on 4 shafts, and you can weave it where you produce a cloth that not only is double weave, but it doesn't have any floats. And so if you want to do something that you want to avoid floats that would be prone to snagging or something like that, this is great. And it's really also a great way for beefing up yarns that are really soft, that want to be very drapey, like tencel or bamboo or silk. You can also take that technique, and I'll show you how to transform it into 2-block 4-shaft double weave. We'll show you, I'm going to show you some weaves that you can combine on 4 shafts, different patterns, and still weave it with a single shuttle, because single shuttle weaving is pretty cool. There's an integrated plain weave. This is one of the most frequently seen weaves in couture tweeds. And it's a great way for using novelty yarns, and then we're going to cover that. And we're also going to cover some double-faced weaves. This is a double-faced warp twill. This is 2 warps, but all the work is done in the warping because you're weaving it with a single shuttle. You also have an interlocking twill, which is one of the most obscure things that I've ever come across in weaving. In fact, I've only seen it written up in one spot. Same thing with double diagonal twills. This is a parallel twill. And what we're going to be doing is not just what this is, but how do you design it so that when you get home, you can create your own designs. Corkscrew and manifold twills. This is an area that I think is really overlooked for 4-shaft weaving. And we're going to conclude with sort of the granddaddy of them all, is 4-shaft, 4-color echo. This is, the work is done up front, pretty much in the designing and the warping, but this is single shuttle weaving, and you can do some spectacular results. You can change your patterns, you can change your weft color, and end up running out of warp before you run out of ideas. But all of this is going to be done on only 4 shafts. So hopefully you will come and think, gee, I want to learn more about things I can do on my 4-shaft loom I may not be aware of. So thank you very much for the opportunity for me to share that. So let me leave and stop sharing my screen and see if there are any questions at all about 4 shafts aren't complex, au contraire.
Well, as anybody who's ever attended one of your workshops knows, the handouts are always worth much more than you pay. So let me reassure anybody who's watching, $5 is a steal for your handouts. Now, this is another workshop that would be pretty good for a beginner.
Well, this is a seminar.
I mean, seminar, not workshop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you're
So if I know how to warp a loom and I know how to weave,
yes,
I'm good. Okay.
And if you can, you need to be able to read a draft, because and so be familiar with threading, tie up, treadling. But we're going to walk through the step by step for all of these weaves as far as it comes to drafting and weaving. A little bit of color selection, although B's class sounds really fabulous. But this is really a way of exploiting 4-shaft looms that might be kind of getting shoved aside. So even if somebody's a fairly experienced weaver, I think there's going to be something in it, because like I said, if you know how to exploit 4 shafts, getting more out of even more shafts takes on new dimensions. But yeah, if people know how some basic fundamentals about weaving, knows how to read a draft, this is a really good class.
All right, everyone, a great seminar to just add more to your knowledge. This is Robyn Spady's Four Shafts Aren't Complex, au contraire, 3-hour seminar, and it's Friday morning, July the 12th. Thank you, Robyn.
Thank you.
Now, just remember, there's all kinds of things at Convergence. There's 150 seminars and workshops. I'm sure you're going to find something you want to do. Everything from a 90-minute seminar to a 3-hour seminar, 1, 2, and 3-day workshops. If you're like, I don't want to bring a loom, we've talked about several seminars today that you could easily not have to bring a loom to take those. Now, don't forget about the CVP. That's the Convergence Value Package. You want to purchase that first before you buy your classes. You get a 25% discount when you buy the CVP, and it also includes the runway fashion show and the keynote speech and a lovely bag. So be sure you do that. If you want to take a workshop, you need to get your membership up to date also. And again, register now. Registration's open. There's classes available. Go in there and see what you want to take. If these help you, it's great to hear about a class before you decide whether or not you want to take it. And also, just a reminder, if you or someone in your guild is responsible for workshops or the programs for your guild, check these out. It's a great way to find somebody that you might want to bring in after Convergence to talk to your whole guild. So thank you all so much. Convergence 2024, it's in Wichita, Kansas. We will see you all there. If you need more information, go to wespendie.org.